Russian army, considering the security threats that now exist against him and his life, given the fact that the situation continues to deteriorate and even further challenges of his leadership are beginning to arise from every corner. We've also seen that a Ukrainian missile did explode in the outskirts of Moscow last night, causing a significant crater, although we have not been able to confirm any direct impacts by Ukrainian missiles within Moscow on any significant or strategic targets during the night. In Nizhny Novgorod and Kostovo, we've also seen that the refinery at Kostovo is continuing to burn throughout the course of the day due to the damage caused by Ukrainian drone attacks just hours ago, and we've also seen that there is still larger and longer fuel lines within the Russian Federation because of the ongoing fuel crisis. We've also heard major news that Lithuania has now lifted its ban on nuclear weapons being hosted or operated from their territories, a first in Lithuanian history, and will most likely be leading to a possible deployment of nuclear weapons of a nuclear power within NATO, either Britain, France, or the United States, within their territory. We've also seen that Belarus has announced to their citizens not to go near to the Ukrainian border area if they value their life, as the tensions there are incredibly high and conflict might kick off, or an attack might kick off at quite literally any minute. We've also seen that as the Belarusians appear to be ramping up the tension slowly yet surely with the state of Ukraine, that around the area of Zaporizhia, a Ka-52 was shot down today, as Russian military bloggers are stating that both pilots were killed in the crash. We believe it may have been a drone attack against a Russian helicopter, which was operating too dangerously near to the front line area. In Zaporizhia, some interceptions were conducted along with Kyiv by Patriot PAC-3 interceptors and also the mobile fire groups of the Ukrainian armed forces. Inside of Kyiv, we've also been able to hear that Zelensky has vowed that they will be conducting counterstrikes against the Russian Federation for the attack on Kyiv, as we've now entered the 7th day of the 40-day drone attack and missile attack campaign that Ukraine had announced against the Russian Federation. In other news, we've also been able to hear that within the Islamic Republic of Iran, the United States and Oman are attempting to dissuade the Iranians from operating the Strait of Hormuz as a toll booth by possibly giving them financial incentives to avoid doing so. And we've also heard that the Cuban president today has stated that Cuba is ready for war and would be willing to fight against the United States if they attempt an armed invasion of the island of Cuba. We have quite a significant amount of news to cover. Moving us on into our first and largest stories of the day, we are going to be moving immediately into the Crimean Peninsula, as it does appear that the Russian Federation's situation in Crimea is so bad, and the armed forces within this area have been so heavily jeopardized in their fighting condition due to the Ukrainian attacks that have been conducted against the logistics and supply lines of the region, that the Russian Federation is seriously concerned that the Ukrainians might conduct an amphibious landing on the island. What we are seeing right here is a picture, apparently, of some sort of a Russian Ministry of Defense wargaming room. Wargaming is an incredibly important process for most armed forces around the world, as it gives them an idea in a hypothetical scenario, using all of the realistic knowledge and information that they have about their own armed forces and that of an enemy armed force, what exactly could be done in a hypothetical scenario. This scenario here appears to clearly be showing us that they are expecting that Ukrainian armed forces, either SOF teams or full-on Ukrainian armed forces units, might try and conduct some form of an amphibious landing around the area of the Chornomorsk region of the peninsula, and may attempt from there to try and take over the Crimean Peninsula, severing the Russian rear lines permanently from the Crimean axes, or we might be seeing that they are going to be attempting to insert a humongous number of SOF teams into Crimea, which largely will be able to degrade Russia's abilities so badly, even for the very few forces that will be left in a couple of weeks, that the Russians will lose control of Crimea, and the control will by default go to the Ukrainians. It is a very interesting picture, however. There's a lot of things here that is showing us that this is definitely
this is Gabriel Angelos aboard the battle barge Litany of Fury.
Are that of
I
the
have
Russian armed
received
forces.
word of
These
the
are not
tyranny
NATO
threat
standard
facing
unit
subsector
identifiers. These are actually
Aurelia
Russian
and of
standard or
Captain
Soviet
Fool's
standard
grave
unit
condition.
identifiers. And
The
this is
tyrannies
also
are a
showing
threat
us
of
as well
unimaginable
that
proportions,
apparently, at least for the
Commander.
Russian armed
They
forces
are
within the
endless in
Crimean
number
Peninsula,
and
most
intent
of
on
them are
consuming
directed along
whole
the western
worlds.
coast right now. There
The
is
Litany
not
of
a
Fury is
single
now
unit to be
making for
seen, at least
Aurelia
in
at
larger
all
number,
speed.
around the rest
We
of
are
the
weeks
Crimean
away.
Peninsula, inside
I
of the
will
central
relay all
area
the
of the
stress
region,
signals back
or
to
to the
you
east. It
while we
actually looks
devise
like,
a
if
plan of
anything,
attack.
one of the few areas that has any air defense is quite literally the Crimean Bridge, or the Kerch Bridge. Most of the rest of the peninsula does not have really any air defenses to speak of, and there is one small redoubt of Russian forces that exists around the town of Dzhankoy, which we can see on the map here, but this is very wild sort of a look at the Russian forces' disposition from what we'd assume is probably what it looked like maybe a week ago or
Commander,
about a week and a half
we have
ago,
located
and
Captain
also showing
Fool's
that they're
attacker.
so concerned
The
about their
warrior
lack of
beast that you
supply
drove
and
into
their
the
combat
Badlands has
capabilities due to
resurfaced,
that lack
leading
of
a
supply
swarm of
that
lesser
Ukrainian
Tyranids.
amphibious landing might actually
This is our
succeed,
first
and it's
chance
such
to
a
strike
serious
back.
consideration. They're trying to actively plan out what would happen if the Ukrainians do land on the Crimean Peninsula. This picture was also taken recently as well. It appears to have been taken on the 29th of June, just several days ago, and published today. We can actually see the original post that this was put out on right here as well by Victor Morana Hondvis, I believe is his name. I can't really read that's really quickly enough or too well to be able to get that right off the bat. But this is still a very interesting look at the concerns that the Russians are getting from how bad the situation is in Crimea, that the Ukrainians might actually conduct a landing, much like we had analyzed on air, of SOF teams to try and start inserting into Crimea en masse and cause as much damage as they can in Russian rear lines. That might even be easier considering the attacks that we've seen happen today, as over the last week, Ukrainian forces have mounted a major drone campaign against the power grid in Russian-occupied Crimea, and they have hit over a dozen substations within the peninsula.
Target
Most
the
of
larger
these have
creatures
made
to
the Crimean
disrupt the
power
swarm.
grid largely unstable
will buy
to
us
the
the
degree
time
that
to get
rolling
to our
blackouts
target.
are now a norm, and some
Captain
areas are
Fool
not
had
accessing
his
electricity
vengeance.
whatsoever as their main distribution hubs have been knocked out. Some of those places include the city of Sevastopol at large, and also most of the northern areas of the Crimean Peninsula. We've also heard that the Crimean power authorities, due to a lack of fuel to be able to run their power plants within the local area, have also additionally announced that just due to the lack of fuel, they will be shutting off the entire power grid for multiple times a day, multiple hours a day, to be able to try and conserve as much electricity as they possibly can, meaning that the situation is quite dire in every direction. The Russians don't have the food and the ammunition to keep their armed forces running, the electricity to keep the civilians running, or the fuel to be able to move. But there is a little bit of fuel left in Crimea. I cannot overstate that there is a little bit of fuel left, and even with us saying that there's been a total fuel collapse in Crimea, I don't want to sound like propaganda here, they do have some gasoline that's left. So it's not as bad as a lot of people would make you think. It's just that out of about, I think, the 50 gas stations that exist in Crimea, I think only about 3 of them are left operational, and the ones that are left operational have prices like this. That is 20 liters
Prepare
of
for
fuel,
combat.
so that's about 4 gallons.
Ready for orders.
5,400
Relocating.
Tyranids are attacking!
Destroy them.
Tyranid assault! Thaddeus here! It is done! Aerial assault! A submarine! Taking heavy losses!
Look alive, brothers.
Fire upon us! We
provide drinking water to the populace are also not as well. The situation is
It is done. Move on.
Satellite imagery is showing the aftermath of the Ukrainian strikes within the port, and the affected areas include the modern Volnik-Kupol Garan electronic warfare system. You can even see a couple of the burnt out units here in the top left. A ship repair yard, which
Tyrannids are attacking!
those vessels damaged. refineries, including the Colonia refinery, the refinery in Nizhny Novgorod, and also others that are announced to be so heavily damaged that they will be out of operation until the beginning of
Relocating.
Inside. Move on. Try to break them! Pyramid assault!
Engage jumper.
As the paranoia increases against the hostile population,
here, coming out.
Devastator. Against them.
This
A security
way.
detail of this size is quite absurd. It's a battalion captain in the Russian army.
As you ordered.
If you were to put that in scale,
Entering the building.
Getting
it
cover,
also
brothers.
shows
Strike from behind us!
and for that reason,
Assault coordinates fixed.
control whatever situation comes their way to be able to allow for him to successfully escape and live another day.
Can you get around them?
Fight it.
It's done. Move on.
While working for the security detail, getting ready for whatever may be coming next inside of Russia, Ukrainian missiles did get incredibly close to landing within central Moscow again. And here in this video, we can actually see one of the craters that was caused from the Ukrainian missile that appears to have unfortunately landed.
Show me what passes security among your misbegotten.
Keep a tight grouping. Concentrate fire.
It is done. Move on.
This This gas station is well outside of the city. It's basically on the suburbs. This is probably a ring road that goes around the outskirts of the city, so that way the highway traffic can generally avoid going through the city center and slowing down. So this is wrapping around probably a decent amount of the city, maybe an eighth or a quarter of the city.
Only a
This is
word
at.
before the
That is
chapter.
unbelievable. And this sort of an image is repeated across Russia hundreds of times every single day right now. Endless fuel queues like these. Russians were free.
Raise this way.
Move on.
Conducted against Kyiv, which is unfortunately led at the moment of this video being published to the discovery of the deaths of 23 Ukrainian civilians, which were brutally massacred over the course of the night by the Russian armed forces and their drone and missile attack on the city. According to Zelensky today,
Area
he stated
secured.
that Putin's losing this war. That's what's
Destroy.
happening.
Target
Putin
acknowledged.
understands that he can intimidate people and destroy the
Scout
civilian
squad
population
ready for
with
orders.
missile strikes. And we've also been able to hear that he went on to vow that he would be conducting significant strikes.
Pyramids are attacking!
Was conducted last night. Clearly shown said, well, there will be heavy escalation of the Ukrainian armed forces against the Russian Federation, and a lot of those drones and missiles are going to be flying over the border regions of Russia, so probably not a smart idea for the Russians to go there.
A submarine's taking heavy losses!
Take your position, brother.
The Tyranids are attacking!
As he
Engage junker.
Tyranid assault! Reposition! Mark!
killed,
My strength is low! The foe has fallen by my hand!
Battalion reporting for duty.
Devastated under enemy attack.
Down.
over Kyiv last night, and
Take your position, brother.
while this is a successful interception, it had been reminded a video ago that unfortunately
Fall into
was quite
position.
overwhelming last night, and a large amount of missiles and drones actually did make it through the air defense perimeter and into the city of Kyiv, and ended up striking a great deal of civilian buildings.
Under attack.
Tear it down.
It is done! Move on!
Concentrate fire. Another hit.
Aerial assault.
Resorts of NATO They use
Take
that
your
to
position,
reinvest in
brother.
their nuclear program, their ICBM programs, funding terrorist groups within the region, and also trying to further build out their economic base to generate more tax revenue to be able to also send more money to these terrorist groups that exist throughout the region, such as the Houthis, Hamas, and Hezbollah. That's why the people in the United States is everything.
Thaddeus here. He's handgunned. Move on. Here it is, go! Engage jump pad. It is done. Inside.
The U.S. is going to drop that now, at least publicly, about the idea of invading the government. We'll have to see if the U.S. ever follows through on such a notion. Although, as far as we're concerned, analytically on the channel, it doesn't really pose any benefit to U.S. strategic or economic interest to conduct such an action, and therefore largely seems to be wasteful and unnecessary if they were to try and conduct some form of an invasion of Cuba. But with that is all.
Assault squad deploying.
Ahead for today. I have to thank you all so much once again for watching. And like we always say, we are absolutely thankful that
Hostiles.
many of you all continue to consider this channel to be your only source of news. If you have,
Thaddeus here. Aerial assault. Go.
My destiny. It is now a conspiracy with
Look alive, brothers.
Devastators under enemy attack.
In the late evening of October the 12th,
There's the beast.
1865,
Destroy
at
it.
number 30 Clarendon Square in the Warrington Square down.
Pyramids are attacking! Thaddeus here. Engage jump pad.
Come on, aliens. Show me your fury.
Scouts here, still engaged.
However, what has been written later years
Move quickly.
about this man. Legend has it that Edward Hurley that do not let his sacrifice be in vain. The mark of
Alive, brothers.
Support wake of fact. His father and the child's
My service
another
is
enemy.
not
Only his father.
Devastator squad requires support. Covetous affirmative.
Inheriting a fortune.
Scouts here, still
My father had
engaged.
no need to earn an income.
Acknowledged.
And instead became a self-appointed preacher of the Plymouth Brethren.
Alive, brothers.
Sorry.
Stand back, brothers!
Preaching faith. It was my mother that enforced this dishonesty.
Show me what passes for fury among your misbegotten kind! Tyranid of Thor!
From the Bible, each person reciting a verse. The expectation of the same coming of Christ, set against the set to stand.
The Tyranids are attacking!
For a distant creature to disciple for ensuring one's life.
The Tyranids are attacking! Tyranid of Thor!
Apothecary Gordian has dispatched servitors to collect and analyze the warrior's corpse.
And from the
Our
moment of his
librarians
funeral,
have also
I
consulted the
entered a
more
new
complete
phase
records
of
aboard the
development.
Litany of Fury.
The main
With this
feature of
information, we have
which was
devised a plan of attack
nonconformity.
against the High Fleet.
My mother sent me to the Ebor School in Cambridge for sons of Plymouth Brethren, run by the
Stop the crusade of the righteous.
and the main teaching instrument was the Bible, and the main instrument for correction was the book. It was around this time that I began to rebel and fantasize about torture.
Tyranids have a simple
blood,
and terrible agenda,
often
Commander.
imagining myself being hurt and in agony.
Left unchecked, they will kill and consume every living
Just
thing on
as
the
any
planet.
young boy.
Our only
vivid
hope of
imagination
stopping the
also began
Tyranids
to
is to
turn
strike at the
opposite
heart of the
sex.
Hive Fleet itself.
But in particular,
For us to do this,
I
you
had
must
visions
first
of
accomplish
being
3 critical
degraded
tasks. You
and
must locate
suffering
and
at
secure the
hands of
astronomic array hidden on
women.
planet Typhon. Only its precise scans will allow us to analyze the Hive Fleet and locate its weaknesses. You must also obtain a
Perhaps these
sample of the
abnormal
Hive Fleet's
fantasies stem from his strict
biotoxins.
upbringing by
Only
his
a
mother,
pure gene sample
from
will
some
allow us to
deep
develop a
resentment for his
poison to
father's
strike
death.
at the Hive Fleet.
But they would
and you
become
must
stronger
secure access to
and
Angel
more and more
Forge on
prolific
planet
as he grew
Meridian.
older.
Only this ancient forge's
Mr. Crowley
vast
and other
manufacturing
authors
capabilities
documented a
will
number
allow
of
us to
anecdotes
produce
from his
weapons
boyhood life.
with which to deliver our
None
poison.
so sinister as that about a cat. Crowley had
Each
been
of
told
these
that a cat
tasks
had
pits
9
your
lives.
handful against
From this, he
untold
reasoned that it
billions.
must be near impossible to kill one.
But failure
But whilst
means the
most young
utter
boys would
annihilation
imagine
of
the
our
consequences of
worlds
such a conclusion, Crowley
and
decided
a
to
death
act it
sentence
out.
for our chapter.
I caught a cat, and having administered a large dose of arsenic, I chloroformed it, hanged it above the gas jet, stabbed it, cut its throat.
Commander, we
Smashed
need to take
its
direct
skull.
control of Angel Forge. I'm
When it had been
authorizing you to
pretty
travel to
thoroughly
Meridian.
burnt,
The planetary governor has been less than
and threw it out
cooperative
of
thus
the window
far,
so that
be
the fall
prepared
might
for
remove the ninth
bureaucratic
line.
resistance. Angelos out.
The operation was successful. I was genuinely sorry for the animal. I simply forced myself to carry out the experiment in the interests of pure science. Just as any young boy would.
The young Crowley grew to loathe the religious doctrines laid down at the Reverend Champneys Special Sex School almost as much as he hated the cruel headmaster. He still continued to study the Bible, but in particular, certain passages, especially those in the book of Revelation. He became drawn to reading about the false prophet